What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. So this is going to be an educational video, and it's going to hip you guys to a situation in case you have not heard. Shout out to Sports Illustrated. I will put the link in the description if you want to read the full article in its entirety. It's by Chris Mannix, very prominent in the boxing world. He's at the Mayweather Media Day and covers boxing. So there's a situation that has been brewing. And it's very funny, and I'm gonna just start with this and then I'll get right into it. Very funny that on my channel, I will make a video and I try to give you guys, I try to drop gems and give you guys reliable sources and information and also my personal opinions and stuff. And I'll drop a video and people will say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And then things like this happen that completely corroborate what I was stating to begin with. And people get mad. They're like, why he's always egos. He's like, I told you, he didn't tell us anything. And actually I did. And it's funny because a lot of times I'll make the video and people will dispute what I'm saying in the video, and then they get mad when I say I told you so. So Golden Boy, as you can see, is preparing to sue former business partner, boxing manager and advisor Al Haymon and his company. So I'm going to read some excerpts and then I'll kind of break it down and give you guys some insight. So this is on Sports Illustrated. In draft copies of the suit, portions of which were viewed and told to SportsIllustrated.com, Golden Boy is seeking monetary damages against Haymon and a temporary restraining order, followed by a permanent injunction against his business practices that violate federal and state laws. So you go to this paragraph. Golden Boy Promotions is preparing to file a lawsuit against powerful boxing manager Al Haymon, his company, Haymon Boxing, and mutual fund manager Waddell and Reed, a significant financial backer of Haymon's premier boxing champ series. Multiple sources familiar with the litigation told Sports Illustrated. The lawsuit alleges Haymon's business practices are in violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act and California unfair competition laws. So we move down, and in its antitrust argument, Golden Boy is expected to contend that Haymon is using his monopoly as a boxing manager. Haymon represents more than 150 fighters, legally creating a vast larger market share than any other manager to create another monopoly from promoting fights. The Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, commonly known as the Ali Act, expressly prohibits managers from acting as promoters. While other promoters have accused Haymon of violating the Ali Act in the past, legal sources briefed in the lawsuit believe a recent article in Sports Business Journal on the PBC, in which Haymon boxing executive Ryan Caldwell was quoted about the PBC model, strengthened Golden Boy's case. And then you can read more. California unfair competition laws prohibit fraudulent or misleading business practices. It is expected that Golden Boy will cite violations of the Ali Act again here. In addition, per legal sources familiar with the lawsuit, Golden Boy could cite Article 396 of California Code of Regulations that prohibits any member, stockholder, director, or officer thereof, or matchmaker or assistant matchmaker shall act directly or indirectly as a manager of a boxer and seek a temporary restraining order following a preliminary hearing and a permanent injunction if they win the case. If successful, both could hinder Haymon's ability to operate Premier Boxing Champs in his current model. Haymon, however, will be able to rely on several defenses. It is possible the parties will ultimately reach a settlement out of court, right? And I'll let you guys read the rest of it, and I'm going to kind of get into my diatribe. The gist of it is Oscar De La Hoya, his company, Golden Boy, is suing Al Haymon and the investors or the backers that are working hand in hand with Haymon Boxing, right? And it's very funny to me because I'm going to show you guys something. I made this video 2 months ago, right? How Al Haymon is monopolizing boxing. New fights announced. So you can see here 2 months ago. You can check the video out if you haven't checked it out. This is what I've been telling you. Al Haymon has been monopolizing boxing. That I knew, and this was a while ago. You know what I mean? And this was before a lot of any really YouTube channels that I seen were even talking about it. So this is before plenty of fights and before we really got to see what all premier boxing champs had to offer. Then you look at this video. I made Golden Boy Promotions, the rise and fall of Golden Boy Promotions. I just did that 2 weeks ago, right? And then this final video, Bob Aaron Block from Showtime conference called The Cold War Rises. Richard Schaefer leaves Golden Boy Promotions. Welcome to the Cold War Part 2. I did that 10 months ago. Now, the reason that I'm bringing up any of these previous videos is to let you know that there's a method. There's a ability to have that foresight of situations that are almost impending, like a collision course before you see it. And that's what I was doing on my channel because I seen this coming a mile away. And in the video where I was talking about Golden Boy, the rise and fall, Oscar De La Hoya is in a tight spot. Not a spot that's impossible to bounce back from, not a spot that other businesses haven't been, but it's kind of like a restructure period where he lost a lot of fighters that he was working tightly with, and also a lot of fighters that generated a lot of money for him. Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, Amir Khan, Leo Santa Cruz. These are all stars or rising stars, and they're no longer working with him. Abner Mares. These are all people, and you have to understand from De La Hoya's perspective, he's probably pissed off because a lot of energy, a lot of time, effort, promotion has been placed into working with those fighters. And now Al Haymon, they went with him. So he's no longer working with them. So like I told you guys in that video, of course, Oscar De La Hoya is salty. Now, Al Haymon is an advisor. Now, this is the thing with legal matters. Al Haymon, being a smart businessman, I don't know that the trouble with any kind of legal process, whoever's filing the suit really has the burden of proving what they say is true. So the thing with what Oscar De La Hoya is trying to pin on Al Haymon, it might be kind of hard because, again, you have the burden of proof. You have to prove everything you say is true with Al Haymon. And sometimes getting that type of information to incriminate somebody is going to be hard. Plus, you got a guy like Al Haymon who's business savvy. He's worked in the music industry before he even came to boxing. He's been in business, in the business world, and dealings probably longer than Oscar De La Hoya, because back then when Al Haymon was in the music industry, I believe Oscar was probably still a fighter. You know what I mean? So the thing is, a lot of times businesses, they cover their tracks. So whether you like it or not, this is a shot to Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy trying to, you know what I mean, throw a warning shot, because obviously they're upset that Al Haymon is taking over and it is affecting their business, which is what I told you in that video that I did 2 weeks ago. And some people said you're hating on Oscar De La Hoya, man. Like, this has nothing to do with hate. Again, it's the ability, call me Ego Stradamus, it's the ability to foreshadow and, like a soothsayer, be able to see stuff before it actually happens. And I've seen this brewing because, again, Oscar De La Hoya, he's in a very tight spot. That's why if you notice, Oscar is constantly hating on Mayweather Pacquiao. He's like, he tweeted something, if you're a fan, show me your Mayweather Pacquiao tickets. I'll give you free tickets to Canelo Kirkland, because the tickets hadn't went on sale and he knew that. So it was like a spit in the face. He was like rubbing in their face the tickets hadn't gotten sale, trying to create a ruckus and, you know what I mean, cause commotion amongst the fan and get people pissed off. And also, I told you guys with the Cold War, another Cold War, is when Richard Schaefer left, which is a video I did a year ago. When Richard Schaefer left, it created a different tension. Now you see Richard Schaefer, he's been like distant. You haven't really seen much from him. However, he's probably somewhere in the background. He was still cool with Mayweather Promotions, still cool with Haymon. So they probably all work together. You know what I mean? It just so happens that since Richard Schaefer and Oscar were in a partnership, there's contractually, Richard Schaefer can't immediately go back into the industry he was once in. There's like a waiting period. It's part of his contract. So he has to wait until that's up. And then I'm sure you'll probably see him in the boxing world resurface. So he's kind of laying low because per his contract with Golden Boy, obviously that he had before he left, he's obligated where he can't get immediately back into a similar role without that, like, undergoing that waiting period. So it's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't understand. I just try to hip you guys to it so you can see. I want to know what you guys think of Oscar De La Hoya suing Al Haymon. Like I said, the difficult part for him and Golden Boy is when you're charging somebody. If you're charging someone with murder, you're charging someone with the Ali Act, the Reform Act, and stuff like that. You have to prove it. And again, a lot of times when people are doing business, they make sure they dot their I's and cross their T's. And I think Al Haymon is a smart business person. So even if what you think is going on, I don't know how easy that would be for you to prove in the court of law. But like the Sports Illustrated article says, it may get resolved out of court. It just depends on, I guess, the legal proceedings. But a lot of times these things can stretch out. And they just had a lawsuit, I believe, with and that's where certain fighters went their separate ways with Al Haymon, like Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Matas and a couple other people. So it's getting thick. The plot is definitely thickening, and I could tell you Oscar is not happy because he's losing money with his company. And again, you guys said, Ego, you're hating on Oscar when I made that video. Actually, it wasn't everybody, so I don't want to generalize. But a lot of people said I was doing it just to hate on Oscar. No, I'm looking at a situation and analyzing it. Oscar really has Lucas Matisse and Canelo and a bunch of guys that haven't been branded yet. You know what I mean? He doesn't have those star Amir Khan. Like Amir Khan, you could put him in a fight with Kell Brook and it'll do good numbers. You could put him in a fight with Adrian Broner. It'll do good numbers because he's enough of a star, enough of a presence. He's been branded and had main events on HBO, had main events on Showtime. He's had like all accesses and stuff done about him, specials, and him and Mayweather going back and forth, things like that. The Mayweather poll, he's been in the limelight enough to the point where he's been branded versus Oscar, his current stable, he has Lucas Matisse, who is a good fighter, but he's not a star. He doesn't speak English. He's a great fighter, but there's nothing like just stands out that's charismatic. So I'm talking about in the States, he's not a huge U.S. star. He has a cult following. A lot of people like him, but do a lot of people support him? Do they buy his merchandise? Do they visit him on Twitter? Do they, you know what I'm saying? The whole branding aspect of it. Do they support him? Now, Canelo's a different story. Canelo, he does have that kind of following where he's a rock star and people, you go to his like Instagram or whatever, he has a ton of followers and a lot of people leaving comments and going to his events, 40,000 versus Austin Trout, something like that. So that's the hole that Oscar De La Hoya is currently in. And I told you this premier boxing champ, when I made that video, the monopolizing video, this is exactly what I seen coming. Because Al Haymon is so powerful. He has so many key players. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Amir Khan, Broner, Abner Matas, Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, I just named black fighters. I named a Pakistani fighter. I named Mexican stars. I named a Puerto Rican star. He's covering all bases with the people he has. He has a lot of people. Josito Lopez, Andre Berto, the Durrell brothers, I believe, are back with him. Adonis Stevenson. He has a lot of power because he manages and advises so many different people. Earl Spence Jr., a rising star who the world should see more of. Oscar De La Hoya is pissed right now. And that's what I was trying to tell you. So it's not about just rubbing in people's face like, oh, I told you so. It's because when I make my videos and then I got people who don't understand and I'm trying to elaborate and show you this is the case. And now we're seeing some of the stuff that I was talking about unfold. And there's an off chance that the lawsuit doesn't get filed. Nothing's been done at the point in time. Like this is just like the early stages, the draft, where I'm sure both parties have been notified that they're about to get sued, but nothing has been. But all these processes take a long time. Legal processes can stretch, especially if you get like extensions and different stuff. So I don't look to have this resolved anytime soon. So Al Haymon and Premier Boxing Champs, they're probably going to keep doing their thing as normal until this is handled. But like I said, legal matters are not a walk in the park. It's not like it just gets resolved and we'll have an answer by Canelo Kirkland. You know what I mean? This is probably going to stretch out a long time before it's actually resolved. But that's what it is. Oscar De La Hoya has drafted up a lawsuit of his company against Al Haymon, and Al Heyman's backing, his investors stating that Haymon and what he's doing, his business model with PBC, is going against the Ali Act and some other things, some other technical jargon, basically saying he's working as an advisor on paper, but he's really doing more than that, if that makes sense. He's really intruding on the promoter world by being the promoter. And based on the Ali Act, you're not supposed to do both. I think Manny Pacquiao, before he got with his current management and Michael Conks and all that, I think he went through the same thing where his advisor or manager or whatever was illegally doing things and going outside of the scope of what he was legally allowed to do. So we'll see how this unfolds. I will keep you guys updated. Like I said, when I drop gems, when I spend like 20 minutes on a video and it's like, I'm like, hey, I really got something for you guys, no jokes and stuff. Maybe you guys should, you know what I mean, just take it for what it's worth instead of just arguing with me like I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Golden Boy, Oscar, Suing, Al Haymon. Drop me a comment. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.